Here to talk to us about campus news from this week and give us a sneak peek on what's to come, Student Publications Editor-in-Chief, Emily Wallenberg. Hi, Emily, how are you?
I'm doing great, Katie. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. We saw this past week in the paper that there is going to be a student-led diversity panel. Could you tell me about that and what that means and what that's going to be?
Yeah, definitely. So Thaha Khan, who is a theater and performance senior in the School of Theater, he has started this diversity and inclusion panel because he felt like students really needed more of a voice in casting, in what material is taught in the classes in the School of Theater, and just representation in general, how shows are cast. Another thing he was frustrated with was the lack of representation in the faculty of the School of Theater, so he decided to create this panel made up of students so that minority students could feel like they had more of a voice in the decisions in the School of Theater. So it's made up of 7 students, and 4 of them are legacy students, which means that Thaha and the other legacy students on the panel will get to select the next people that come in, which I think is a good thing because they can ensure that the panel will be made up of minority students, and then the others will be elected in by the School of Theater students. So I think this is just a really great opportunity for students to feel like they have a voice in decision making, and for students who are of different cultural backgrounds to really feel like they have a place in the School of Theater and they can help with decision making. And from what I've seen so far, the deans have been super supportive of it. All the students are really advocating to make sure their friends' voices are really heard and represented. So I think it's going to be a great thing for the school.
That's great. And speaking of theater students, we have a recent alum who got to be in a Chance the Rapper music video. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so this is really cool. I talked to Preston Chapman, who is a School of Theater alum. He graduated in 2018, and he got a call from his agent one day, and she said, "You need to be on set tomorrow. You're going to be in a Chance the Rapper music video." So he showed up on set not really knowing what to expect. I think he just kind of thought he was going to be an extra, but he was handed a costume and they said, "You're going to be playing Doug and you're going to sit across the booth from Chance the Rapper." So he walked on a set, and his character Doug is a play on the Nickelodeon show Doug. And so he's wearing this crazy costume and sitting in this booth, and he said that Kel Mitchell from Good Burger and Keenan and Kel walked up to him and shook his hand, and he was just starstruck because he's seeing all these famous people on set. And then Chance the Rapper's bodyguard walked in and said, "Are we ready for talent?" And the director said, "Bring him on in." And he said, "In walked Chance the Rapper." And he said that he was literally glowing, and he had never seen a human being look like that, but Chance walked up to him and shook his hand, and Preston said, "Oh, I'm a huge fan of you, like I love your new album." And Chance shook his hand and said, "I'm a big fan of you, bro." And it was just the craziest thing. So Preston said it was such a surreal experience, and he didn't really even process it until he was walking home the next day. It just all flew by so fast. But he said that living in Chicago has been such a great experience, not just because of opportunities like that, but the OCU community there is still really strong. And he said he's gotten many opportunities and jobs just because he knew someone from OCU. So I think he's living his best life up there.
Oh, that's so cool. And could you give us a sneak peek of what's to come?
Yeah. So one of the cool things that's coming up is that an SGA senator has written a resolution calling for gender inclusive housing at OCU. So basically this would be allowing students of the same gender identity or different gender identities to live in the same room. So males and females, or whatever gender identity you identify as. And I think this is a really good step forward for inclusion in OCU housing, and I think it'll be really interesting to see what happens. And so far it seems like Casey Kreger, directing the housing, is all for it.
That's so cool. Well, thank you so much for coming today, Emily.
No problem.
After this commercial break, we're talking all things Thunder with 2 OCU podcasters. Stay with us.